welcome to the FSF PopCast live show.
Hello, kids and cadets, nerds of all ages. Welcome to the All Nerdy No Dirty live show.
John, on the wrong show.
Drats, we showed up here again. Wait, we've got a few things we want to talk to you guys about tonight. We're very excited to have you, and we hope that you guys enjoy the live show. Now, as we're getting into this, please feel free to put comments over in the comment section. We'll do our best to get them on camera and talk with you, because the things that we're going to talk about tonight, I think, are things that you guys will be interested in. I think you guys will have opinions about, because we're going to be talking about the last couple episodes of Doctor Who. We're going to be talking about some news in the MCU about the Fantastic Four and the castings that have been made there. And then we're also going to talk about X-Men 97. Now, the season finale is coming up on Wednesday. And
I'm not ready.
Nobody's ready for that, Sean. Nobody's ready. That is going to be a hot mess on Wednesday. A good hot mess, because this season has been amazing. But I think you all know what I mean. Mostly nerdy, sometimes. Yeah, we should probably change the title. But so tonight, this is the plan. We're going to talk about the MCU. We're going to talk about X-Men 97. We're going to talk about Doctor Who, and we've got a few other things that we're going to kind of cram in there as we go along. Now, as a reminder, this podcast is made possible only by the support of our show partners. That, of course, is Storylines, who helps us with our shorts and reels and TikToks, helps make all those cool videos you guys see and subscribe to there. TCT, where fandom meets fashion, Level Up Sabers, and, of course, the amazingly good Monkey Cult Coffee, which I am having some of their Sumatran blend right now. So, freshly ground beans and having some coffee as we get going on this. So, but yeah, speaking of TCT, I got some stickers in the mail today, so I want to show these off. This is, I like that reflective. Ooh, the D20 with the Michigan in the middle.
Yep.
There is the Michigan Mandalorian. And now they also have this with other states. I think Indiana, that state to the south of us, whose name I do not mention, but my friend Jason Taylor lives there. I also think Kentucky. But then also, if you're from the Michigan area and you are a Detroit sports fan, they have this one, which I think is really very cool. It's a nice tie-in with the Lions and Tigers and
Bears, oh
Red Wings, oh my. So,
hey, the state to the south has a couple things going for it. It's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it keeps Kentucky away from me.
It's got a lot of cool zoos and has the most number of astronauts.
I was going to also, I think, the most number of presidents, too.
What is it about Ohio that people want to leave the planet?
Have you been to Ohio?
Yes, repeatedly.
Yes, and I'm always glad it's the interstates lead out of that state.
Yeah, there's that.
If only Jason was here to listen to us pick on his state.
And defend its honor.
There's no defending it. It's Ohio.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't really try that hard to defend it. That's the great part. If you're wondering, we're talking about Jason Taylor, 3 Geeks Podcast. Very good friends of
3
ours.
Geeks plus Mike.
Yes, 3 Geeks plus Mike. Go check out the 3 Geeks Podcast. We love them dearly. Now, as a reminder, all the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, you'll see a lot of it on our Patreon channel as well. If you're not already a Patreon subscriber, we have 3 really easy to access levels. We have a $1 level, which gives you early access to all interviews posted each and every week. We have a $3 level, which gets you not only the early access, but gets you all the behind the scenes, cool stuff you won't see on the FSF PopCast, normal YouTube channel, and also a million opportunities to me go, because John pretty much likes to make sure that those
And then it's turned into a Rickroll where Tim starts going, I did
I hadn't thought of that. That's a good
You're
idea.
welcome. What can I say?
This is why I don't typically allow you guys on the air at the same time. But yeah, and then our final one is a $15 level, which you get all of that and the opportunity to be on the show twice a year. Once in our live show like this, but you never know who's going to be on. Sometimes it's just us. Sometimes we have really cool guests. And the other time, you get to shake some dice with us. Just like that. That'll beg you there. So,
shake.
Tim, did you see where I posted online about my snazzy new book?
Shake your math rocks.
I did see your snazzy new book. And
With
I'm so
wetware on it.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're all gonna die. Except
So many cool things in here that I can use to kill my player characters. Definitely not the
I'm-
players, because that's a felony.
you just kill our alter egos. It's okay.
Yeah.
However, you cannot kill Edna. And why can John not kill Edna?
Okay, so we had this
Because-
conversation recently. It's the
Oh,
dog rule. Okay? I can't kill a dog in a game. Can't do
Or
it.
anything that's dog adjacent.
Well, because Chewbacca was based on George Lucas's dog riding in the passenger seat.
Right.
So anybody who plays a Wookiee, I have trouble killing them.
Wait, now you said that you have trouble. Not that you can't do it, you just have trouble.
The stupidity of your decisions and the dice rolls have a lot to say.
Oh. Okay, you're not gonna like blatantly try
He's not-
to kill me, but if I accidentally
Yeah.
kill myself, it's
Right. Not going to go out of the way to do it, but he's also not going to stop you from doing something horribly stupid.
Honestly, it's how I handle all of you.
and our child.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of his
Oh.
parenting style as well.
Go ahead and try it. I'll put out the fire.
Let me know how that works for you. Don't worry, Dad will take you to the emergency room. Okay.
Yeah.
So, first things first. Let's just jump right out the gate. Get into some of the nerd talk and theories.
Nerd.
So we'll nerd it up with a little bit of Doctor Who, which is now available on Disney Plus. If you guys haven't already noticed that, there is Doctor Who on the House of Mouse channel.
It is just the new Who, so it is the Christmas specials and the newest
New Who?
season with Nshuti Gatwa.
The 15th Doctor,
Yes.
who is wonderful.
He is fantastic.
When my wife's not pointing out how good his butt looks.
Holy crap, I'm sorry. Their costume designer really made sure that those pants were form-fitting. I'm
I was
sorry.
going to leave that up on the screen, but I wanted to be able to see John's face turn red from laughter a little bit better.
I'm sorry. When you put it in a display case like that, how am I not supposed to see it?
In a display case. I'm going to use that line later. I'm going to see how well yeah, I'm dead. Anyway,
His dick.
Oh yeah.
and dead. So yeah, Nshuti Gatwa. He does a good job, huh?
He does. He's adorable.
Yeah.
So I
Go
haven't
ahead.
watched. So as you guys both know, it's not that I have an aversion to Doctor Who. I don't
Mhm.
mind Doctor Who. I just haven't watched enough of it for me to give any credible theories or opinions on the show. And I don't think that's fair for me to say, hey, you should go watch Doctor Who, or hey, you shouldn't go watch Doctor Who, because I haven't watched enough of it for me to be able to form a reliable opinion. Now, the things that I have watched, I've enjoyed.
Okay.
I thought they were silly. I thought they were campy, but I also think that's part of the charm
It
based
is.
on what I've seen.
Very much like Star Wars, the camp is part of the package.
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, I think that the new season, it's season, not series, right?
No, it is series.
Series? Okay,
because
the new
it's
series.
British.
Has just enough depth to be like, oh, what's that about, without being overwhelming. I've watched a fair amount of Who. I'm not as deep into it as my wife is, but yeah, I didn't feel lost at any point. I didn't
No.
think anybody else would.
There are definitely things that have been brought up through the Christmas specials and then through the first 2 episodes that aired on Friday, that it is the where are you going with this, Davies? But also, where are you going with this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Okay.
excited because there was mention at the end of the 2nd episode of the one who waits is about to arrive, and it's like, wait, what's that mean? Who's that? What's gonna happen? So
Now, all I know, and one of the things I am looking forward to in this season of Who, is that there's going to be a Neil Patrick Harris sighting.
there already was a Neil Patrick Harris episode, which was
Oh,
fantastic.
there was. I missed
Yes,
it.
that
Okay.
was one of the Christmas episodes.
Okay.
It's a fabulous musical number.
Oh my gosh, it is probably it's in my top 5 favorite Doctor Who episodes. It might be top 3.
The song is actually
Really?
better
Okay.
than Nothing Suits Me Like a Suit. So
Yeah.
just put that in your wheelhouse there.
It's better than Nothing Suits Me Like a Suit?
hmm
Okay. And as all of our listeners know, I'm not really big on musicals, but I do love that episode of How I Met Your Mother, and with Neil Patrick Harris as Barney Stinson singing nothing suits me like a suit. So, okay.
I mean, it
Moving
is.
on.
I will say that the episode, because his character is called the Celestial Toymaker, and this is a character that we hadn't seen since Classic Who. So to bring back a long lost character like that was pretty exciting, instead of it just being another thing with Master or another thing with Cybermen or another thing with the Daleks, because that's been the last. When did Doctor Who come back? 2005.
Yeah.
So a long time.
Yeah.
So the last 20 years, basically.
Yeah. But
Okay.
his character is so completely unhinged.
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing. But then in the second episode of the new series, the character that they're dealing with is called the Maestro, and we find out that that's the Celestial Toymaker's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of that moment of the, wait a minute, so how many more of these things are there out there coming
Okay.
for you?
You're skipping my favorite episode.
Space Babies. Space Babies were weird, though.
It was great. I mean, the babies are terrible actors. As all child actors are.
CGI mouths were freaky.
We went and saw episode 1 late last week, too, so child actors, they're as good as the lines they're given.
That's true. But no,
Poor
so
Kate
yes,
Lloyd.
the Space Babies
I feel bad
episode
for
was a
them.
little weird.
But I did appreciate the explanation for the
The Bogeyman?
the bogeyman. That was great.
No, it's not a boogeyman, John. It was a bogeyman.
Yes.
It was literally a monster made out of snot.
Sucked out of the
boogie.
Yeah.
It was a bogeyman.
And as anyone who's
Okay,
had,
were they calling it a bogeyman because they're British and they just
Yes.
put the emphasis on the wrong syllable?
Yes.
Yes.
But it's more fun to say bogey than it is to say booger or boogie.
No, I don't think it is. Because when I think of bogey, I'm thinking like, Top Gun, airplane chase where you have a bogey on the back.
I knew you loved
know.
Tom Cruise movies.
No.
All right. I'm
No.
sorry. Picking on you.
I should have referenced Iron Eagle. My bad.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that one.
Don't lie on the internet, John.
Stop picking on about that for
Louis
5
Gossett Jr.
But yeah, no, the Space Babies one was weird, and I feel like there's probably more to that at some point as well. I don't feel like that was a one-off.
Mhm.
Since it was mentioned that the planet couldn't fund keeping the babies anymore, so they left them on the space station to fend for themselves.
So, some very not so subtle political statements there, I think. Anyway,
Maybe a little bit.
but yeah,
It tends to happen.
all in all, fun episodes. Not too deep so you feel like you're lost at any point, but enough little jokes in there that you're like, oh yeah, I remember that episode from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago.
I will say too,
Whatever.
I was skeptical when they started showing pictures of. I need to make sure I'm not butchering this person's name. Give me 1 second.
One who played the Maestro?
Jinx Monsoon.
Ah, yes.
So when they first showed off pictures of Jinx
Oh, yeah.
Monsoon as the Maestro, I'm like, I don't know. That's a little
Yeah,
over the
there's-
top for Doctor Who, even.
Yeah, there's been a lot of commentary in the media about it. We're not going to get into all that.
No.
No.
No, there's no need to. But
What she
Um,
did, absolutely fantastic.
okay.
Like, I loved that character. It was too over the top, which was part of the reason that it worked.
Okay.
But
I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with the rest of the season. Should be fun. Kind of weird. Showing the Beatles was kind of fun too.
that was cool.
And did you notice how it took both of them coming together? It took can't think
Ruby
of-
Sunday,
No, the two
Lennon, and
McCartney. Yes, thank you. It took the two of them coming together to come up with that chord to banish the Maestro.
Mhm.
Neither one of them could do it on their own. They had to work together.
It was pretty cool.
I liked it.
Did they sing "Come Together" when they came together?
No.
Well, that
But,
just seems like an opportunity missed.
It kind of was.
But also, that wouldn't have been an era appropriate song.
Right, because it was 63
They were at Abbey Road.
before it was
Right.
Abbey. Anyway, I feel like we're losing Tim, so maybe we should move on to the next topic.
No, you're not losing me. I was actually forgot to post something for our live, so I was putting it up real quick.
Okay.
While I was thinking about it, but I was trying to stay involved while I was posting. But yeah, no, yeah. I'm here for the conversation. I want to learn more. Your phones. Yeah, I want to learn more about the Who. I just need to. Mm-hmm. It's a problem, and I think this is probably a topic for another show, maybe down the road. But the problem for me is that there's almost an oversaturation of materials right now, and trying to find time to watch everything. And because as being a pop culture show, we want to be on top of everything as most we can. Mm-hmm. But getting it to be able to watch everything, it's like, well, there's some things like I still haven't watched. There's a show on Amazon that everybody keeps telling me I need to watch. Starts with an E. Expanse. I still haven't watched The Expanse. Haven't had time to. Right. I haven't finished The Foundation on Apple TV Plus season 2, even though I loved season 1. I thought it was a phenomenal show. It's like there's all these things that I'm trying to get into, but there's
just too much of it.
It's too good a time to be a nerd.
Right. It's an overabundance of riches is what we have. And so trying to find the balance of life, nerd time, and if I'm going to watch this much nerd time, how much Star Wars do I take out of that nerd time? Right. And that is it's a problem.
It really is.
Star Wars is my safety safe. I go back to that. It's my safety safe.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think Marvel has been the worst offender in the recent years.
Mm-hmm.
Phase 4 having as much content as the first 3 phases combined was a little over the top.
Yeah. And I think that, at least with Marvel, and I feel like they are working on redeeming themselves. At least I hope that's what they're doing.
Yes.
But yeah, they did kind of throw too much at us too fast. And it got to the point of I don't care anymore.
Right. Well, hey, let's use this as an unintended segue to go into the Marvel.
Totally
Marvel
intended.
Talk. Actually, it wasn't for me. I was talking about other things, but
sorry.
Yeah, but this is great. We'll use this as a segue to go over to it.
All right.
So we had some Marvel news talking about the casting of the Fantastic Four. Now, the newest is this gentleman here, Ralph Ineson, who is playing the role of Galactus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just hoping that they actually make him a humanoid-style creature and not just a cloud this time. Right. A random planet-looking cloud. Because if they do...
Walking out.
It's a problem.
I'm not walking out of my living room.
I am.
Anyway.
Exactly.
Walking out and pouting.
Even just looking at him, his mouth and his jaw, it's a really good fit for most of the illustrations of Galactus in recent years.
Yeah. I think that overall, when you look at this cast, this is the main cast.
Mm-hmm.
Julia Garner is going to play Shalabal, the female Silver Surfer.
Yep.
Which also we're not going to go into detail about because there's a whole lot of butthurt dudes out there that, oh my God, they're turning everything into a woman.
I want to see the character.
Read a comic. The Shalabal's a woman, and she's a Silver Surfer. Deal with it. Anyway, okay. I'm not overly crazy about the rest of the cast.
The only one I'm actually excited about is Joseph Quinn.
I like Joseph Quinn. I'm not crazy about Pedro in this role as Mr. Fantastic.
I'm really not either, as much as I love Pedro Pascal.
Exactly. I mean, Space Daddy. I mean, he is Space Daddy.
He is.
It's just,
And he did amazing in Last of Us.
Right. He's great in a lot of things. He's going to get cast in a lot of things because he's hot. He's popular. I get it. But I also would like to have seen. I don't. It's not like I have this role in my head. This fan cast in my head that Mr. Fantastic had to be this one person. Okay?
But if you're going to show him as John Krasinski, give us more John Krasinski.
I actually would be very okay. Would have been very okay with John Krasinski. And it didn't have to be John Krasinski, but I would have been more okay with that than I was Pedro. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing against Pedro. I think Pedro's a phenomenal actor. Mm-hmm. He's extremely talented. It's just I don't see him in this role. That doesn't make it bad, but,
Right.
You know, what you gonna do? You know,
Watch the movie and have a good time.
I mean, I guess once I see the interaction between Pedro and Vanessa, I might.
yeah,
take
that's right. Well, that's the payoff, right? Because there has to be some level of compatibility between the two main stars, which is why in other versions of the Fantastic Four it was a little bit awkward because there wasn't that, especially in that Fox remake a couple years back where we
And Four Stick?
that was awful.
Oh, yeah.
That was just an awful movie. The ones with Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, I actually didn't mind those. They weren't the best, but out of the Fox era, they were probably some of the best out of the Fox era.
Right.
You know, but yeah, and I thought that was probably the casting of that guy whose name I can never remember and I butcher every single time I do see it. He's a really good British actor, but I thought he actually played the role pretty well based on what he was given. But I don't know. I like Pedro, but I don't like him for this role. So I'm hoping that the payoff is better than what I'm anticipated or what I thought it or think it's going to be. Not what I thought it was going to be. What I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
My only complaint about the casting is there's no Joshua Schubert.
That is
Bingo.
a darn shame.
That would be great to see. I would love to have seen him got the role as the Tick. The Backrack guy, he's a nice guy. He's a good good actor, quality actor. I've seen him in a lot of different things. Always does a stand-up job. I have no complaint about anything he's doing. It's not Josh Hubert. Let's just put it
Right.
that way.
And I feel like this is prime. They went with the bigger names because it's these are who's hot and who's going to get us money, and just go with the fact that we're excited to have a new movie and try to cast off of that. Try to cast off of here's the characters, enjoy the characters. Don't just throw the next pretty face at a movie. Stop doing it. It's stupid.
Right.
I mean, we'll watch a movie for a pretty face, but
I'm sorry. I'm also still just bitter about the casting for Wicked as well. It's a totally different topic.
we'll talk about that one in November.
Kathleen will angry scream into the void.
After Tim sees it, we'll talk about it in November.
So we're not talking about it. Okay, good. All right.
We'll get Shayna to take you to the musical in Grand Rapids.
I'll just have Shayna on the show and I'll talk to Shayna about it.
I would actually love that.
Actually, she'd probably be really good for that because she'd have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about also there's other parts of this that are attached to this announcement of Ralph Ineson being cast in the role of Galactus.
Really?
Now, outside of the Fantastic Four, there's other news from Marvel about what they're doing as far as we were just talking about the amounts of news.
Yes.
Or the amounts of shows. What's up, Jason? We talked about you earlier. You weren't here, buddy.
We missed you.
Always good to hear from you.
It was nice things about you.
We like you.
Just not Ohio.
Ohio sucks. It really, really sucks. Anyway, but
There's a lot of that whole Toledo thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got
you we like. So, but yeah, there's the news coming out of the MCU is that they're going to slow their roll, as it were, when it comes to the production of movies and shows, which I'm hoping is going to increase the quality because
can't really
yeah. At least all our water is drinkable. Can't prove it. I've been to Cleveland. There's lots of water in that area. I would not drink. Anyway,
they just haven't done any testing to see if it's not drinkable.
Right? You just didn't. Toledo
doesn't care about
Toledo does suck. Well, yeah, you're not wrong.
I like
the zoo's nice. Toledo Zoo is really nice. But there, especially after the Secret Invasion show.
Oh, I tried to defend that, and the last episode is like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
If you nail
you know,
okay, but
I think you and I both went into that series, John, with the first couple episodes. I was hyped. I was like, "Yep!" Or man, they found their stride. We're back at it. We're doing it. This is a great show. And then it started going, and you're like, "Where are we going with this?" And then the last episode when it just stopped. Like, really? We're done? That was it?
There should have been another season in there to get to that ending, but you know.
Yeah. So, and I think the reaction coming off that show, especially now, there had been some complaints about, She-Hulk. A lot of that, in my opinion, was just a lot of He-Man woman haters. And you had a really hard time with that. I personally really enjoyed the She-Hulk series. I thought it was great. For what it was.
Yeah.
But I think that it's got to get back to a point where it's a slower production. We're getting better things,
Yeah.
because we're paying attention to them. We're not just a chop shop just trying to throw crap against the wall to see what sticks. Let's see. Jason said Bob Iger said that when he got back to Disney, the dude that replaced him and was replaced by him was an amusement park guy, and he opened the floodgates. And Secret Invasion was so boring after the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
She-Hulk is in my top 3. Yeah, it was a really good series, and I think it has a lot of potential for something coming up. I think they really set that series up well to do more and have her character show up in other series and do other things. So I'm hoping that that's the way that's going to go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And part of the MCU right now too is that they don't have like their core cast, because with the first 3 phases you had Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, who each showed up in at least one movie each year, if not 2 or 3,
right,
to tie everything together. And I mean, what's the gap between Captain Marvel appearances now? 4 years?
Yeah.
If they had taken like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel and done the same thing, it might have stuck together. But
well, that, and they're working themselves towards the new Avengers and all these things, but they've kind of like moved some of the blocks in place, but they haven't really pointed anybody to that to say that yes, this is definitely the direction we're going. They've left the door open enough that I think that if they had to pull back and reverse and do something else, they still could. I think that's what they're kind of going for.
Yeah.
Tatiana, I'm not even going to try her last name. Could read me the phone book and it would be 5 out of 5. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. Her character was just, the way she did that character was just top notch. So, if you haven't seen Orphan Black, do yourself a favor. All right.
Take that
and nothing in his Phase 4. He's not wrong. Nothing is tied together.
And I feel like
it's been a hot mess.
I feel like too they had an idea, they had a plan, and then they looked at the plan and said, "Wait, no, maybe we don't want to do it that way." And then actors strike, writers strike, delaying the things that we should have been getting.
The team on Multiverse of Madness not being allowed access to the script for WandaVision was kind of horrible for characters.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen said that, when she got on set, they obviously had not read or seen anything from WandaVision while they were filming. So her character was totally disconnected.
How do you get from here to... Well, honestly,
exactly.
So that explains part of the reason why Multiverse of Madness sucks so bad.
Right.
There was a big disconnect. Oh man! Wow. Okay, yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, there's so many things not connected in the MCU now that were so tightly connected before. It just, and once you miss one movie or one show, then you can skip the next 2 or 3, and then you just don't care. And then you're working with DC. Anyway.
Jason says, "I have an argument for how it connects. I love Multiverse of Madness." Really?
Are you busy right now? Should we just send you a link?
I'll send you a link right now, Jason. You come on, tell me your theory, because actually I would love to hear it. because I struggled with that movie very, very mightily. But yeah.
See, I liked it, but I think also because I'm not as emotionally invested in Marvel.
I feel seen. Oh,
I was there for the popcorn and the boom booms.
I mean, she's not wrong.
The popcorn and the boom booms.
Yeah. The explosions, because if you're going to go into a movie theater and watch
yes.
there have to be explosions. I mean, if you're going there to watch people talk to each other, I mean, you can do that on a TV at home. You don't need the 50,000 watt surround sound system for conversation. You need it for explosions and lightsabers. And, you know, Ryan Reynolds telling dirty jokes, stuff like that.
Right?
Yeah. So.
All right.
Woo!
All right. So while we're waiting for Jason, can we jump into my thing?
I want you to wait on that one because by the time you get into that, I don't want to have to make you stop.
Okay.
Because then you have to restart. And that seems like an issue. Because based on the lack of clarity that I saw between all those pictures, I'm a little concerned for all of us, but I'm willing to just let you go, do your thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm really very curious about his theory here because his argument. Because I struggled with the Multiverse of Madness so badly because I didn't think it represented any of the characters well.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it represented Butternut Crinkle Fries very well.
It was supposed to be his movie, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but it didn't feel like his movie. It felt like he was a placeholder for Wanda.
To get us in there.
Yeah.
Right. And then they brought in
Butternut Crinkle Fries.
Yeah. There was not enough butternut crinkle fries in the thing.
There's enough schnapps though.
So
yeah.
He said he's gonna jump on the link.
You.
He's just got to connect his things.
All right, but anyway, going back to the thing, there aren't any main characters holding the story together.
No.
You know?
No.
I mean, they have some really strong characters they could use. They could use Shuri. They could use Carol Danvers. They could use Benedict.
Yeah.
Butternut Crinkle Fries.
Thank you.
Butternut Crinkle Fries. Jason!
Together. Okay. Jason.
Benadryl Cucumber Patch.
Thank you.
This is the first time John and I have been on a show together.
Yeah.
Oh, look at us getting to be here for your first time.
Look at the madness ensue. All right, Jason, explain yourself, sir.
The whole WandaVision, she's growing attached to these kids, right? In the final post-credit scene of WandaVision, we see her using dark magic to try to find these children so she can bring them back into her world. So the process has already started at the end of WandaVision. Sure, maybe we could have gotten a little something to put in between, but you can see the roots to her going that route at the end of the show. And having your children yanked away from you, I know any mother would slowly start, even though they were fiction, to her they were real. So if you rewatch WandaVision, watch the post-credit scene, you'll see her in the back room with her sitting Native American style. I don't think we can say the other one anymore. And kind of floating, reading that book to try to find her kids. And then in WandaVision, that's what the whole thing's about. So they do kind of connect.
Okay, yeah.
That's true.
I forgot about that.
I know they. Okay, so they kind of connect there, but after that, I just felt like it was just.
My only issue with
I didn't feel like it was a Doctor Strange movie.
Well, my issue with Multiverse of Madness is it doesn't tie really in with Spider-Man. Which I guess it kind of does because he forgot Peter Parker existed. So there's that argument. But I just feel like it should have tied in maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And she called him out on that too, that when he, uses magic to warp reality, he's a hero. But when she does it, she's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I see your point. That's a good point. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the MCU. Phase 4 has been a major step back, but I'm glad that they got rid of the amusement park guy because he was doing too much with Star Wars too. I'm glad that we're kind of just reevaluating.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think. We were saying this earlier on in the episode that there's there's so much, and there was almost like a glut of materials that was A, it's hard to keep up with, and then B, I feel like half the time we're getting subpar materials.
Right.
So
We don't need an all-you-can-eat buffet.
I want a good meal. I want a
Right. I want home
well-made meal.
cooked.
Well, to be fair, we're all comic book nerds. So we're going to follow all this stuff. But what about the general public? I mean, I haven't watched the Marvels yet. I just caught up on Loki. The general public has to consume all of this to be caught up to what's happening.
Mhm.
I think
Right.
Deadpool is going to be the previously on that the general audience needs.
Probably.
I think Deadpool is going to be the thing that catches everybody up.
I feel like
It's the magic eraser.
Marvel
It's gonna-
Marvel Jesus.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's Marvel Jesus. It's gonna be the magic eraser that brings everybody back up to speed.
I actually want to have scenes with him and She-Hulk, where they're talking to each other, and then they talk to the audience, and they talk about the characters around them, not knowing there's an audience. You know.
I just want to see Deadpool
Yeah.
and She-Hulk on screen together.
Me too. Again, Tatiana Maslany, I love her.
Kathleen, does it have to do something with the packaging or the casing or whatever you said earlier? So the display case, yes.
It has everything to do with
Display
that.
case.
Schnapps.
Oh lordy, my wife.
Just so yeah. Okay. Well, I mean that was
Honestly, I just think that the chemistry between Deadpool and She-Hulk would be amazing to watch on screen anyway. No matter which direction that chemistry went. Whether it's beautiful and spectacular and intimate, or if they destroy each other and rip each other apart.
I mean, that's a fine line.
It really is.
okay.
Yeah. My mother watches this show.
All right, so
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess maybe what I need to do is personally, is I probably need to go back and just kind of look at the end of WandaVision again. Although I remember the scene you're talking about, Jason. I still think maybe go back, watch that last episode, that last post-credit scene. Because I see now how that does tie in, because she went looking for her kids and she would have found them wherever she was at.
Yeah, you just got to
But-
look at it through the eyes of like a mother, like having that experience and then it's gone. Of course, it's going to snap something in your brain, whether it's real or not.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't excuse the rest of the movie, but I get where you're going with that one.
So I like the movie. I thought it was fun. They let Sam Raimi do his thing.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Oh, he's a fine director. Don't get me wrong. There's so many issues I have with that movie, but
That was the one with the weird zombie Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah.
most of the way that the fact that it wasn't, I didn't feel like it was a Doctor Strange movie, and they didn't let Benadryl chlorine patch have enough, ownership of his own
He's such
character.
a good actor. He's such a good actor.
He really
Really
is.
He
He's
is.
another one. Like read a phone book and I'd be all in. 5 out of 5.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. Honestly, he's an amazing actor, and I love everything I've ever seen him in.
Just let him be amazing, though.
Yeah.
Just let him be amazing. Don't stop trying to dial him down into something else, and
Mm-hmm.
let him build that character. Let him be the character.
Yeah.
Because he's just in his own naturalness, he's already got that sense of, because I always felt with Doctor Strange that there was a little bit of regalness to him, even though he wasn't like royalty or regal or
No,
anything
but-
along those lines.
He's a doctor.
Right. But he was a doctor, and he was the Sorcerer Supreme. He was all these different things. He's had that really cool cape, and all these different things. So I was always like, well, right. So he's, and then to have him played by Butternut Crinkle Fries was just the perfect way to do it. So, just saying,
This is why I can never remember his name.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch.
See?
Oh yeah, Cumberbatch. My bad.
Not Cucumber Patch.
Speaking of British actors, they're making a third Downton Abbey movie now.
Whoop, whoop.
Yay.
Yeah, I feel like we just lost Tim again.
I haven't seen
I'm
the first
good.
two.
I haven't watched a minute of any of it, so I'm good.
It's okay.
That's okay.
They keep
All right,
getting
John.
Different
maybe.
All right, Jason, we're all about to be amazed by the display that's going up on screen. John, I'm just going to let you run it. This
Okay.
is John's thing. So what we're going into now is we're segueing not as brilliantly as we did into the MCU talk, but we are going to talk. This is Marvel continued. So this is X-Men 97 because the finale is on Wednesday. And John has a theory that is about 42 slides long.
Wait for your mind to be blown.
Okay, I didn't actually take pictures of my books because they're all in a closet behind Kathleen's desk, and I couldn't get to them in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, so this is where my brain has been today.
This is very accurate based on what's coming.
Yes.
Yep.
So last week, Magneto ripped the adamantium out of Wolverine, which,
ouch.
I was 14 when that happened. So yeah, shut up, Kathleen.
About right.
Yeah. So I mean, big, landmark thing changes everything, right? But it also changed the character of Charles Xavier. But we didn't know it right away. The first sign we actually had of him having a major personality shift was when his stepbrother showed up, having had the crap beat out of him, pounded into the ground, and all he could do was mutter the name Onslaught.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, nobody knew who this guy was. They just made him up on the fly sort of thing and hoped the story would come together. But he was actually a combination of Xavier's personality and Magneto's as a result of what I think is going to happen Wednesday.
Which is
where Xavier rips Magneto's mind out of him.
That sounds lovely.
Oh yeah, major traumatic event. And eventually Onslaught gets to the point where he's trying to just destroy everything. And so everybody comes together. The rest of the heroes, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, Dr. Doom even comes in to help with the, I'm going to help save the world because there's no sense ruling over an ash heap. He still wants to rule the world. He just wants to get rid of Onslaught first.
Interesting. Okay.
And so the way they end up doing this is the non-mutant heroes start absorbing Onslaught's energy field to the point that they get blinked out of existence. They're just
like
gone.
Thanos?
Pretty close. But what it is, Franklin Richards, Space Daddy's child, puts them in this little pocket dimension to keep them safe until he can fix reality. But while they're in that pocket dimension, they had their own run of comics, this set of characters, who it's kind of a familiar looking group. Wait, that's the wrong slide. This slide, yeah. So you had the Fantastic Four, you had the Avengers, Hulk, Vision, Scarlet Witch. I mean, this cast looks kind of familiar, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Looks a lot like that cast.
Uh-huh.
So my theory is what we've been watching since 2008 is actually the pocket dimension. That the real MCU, the one that we've been trying to get back to, is the original. Because all of these characters existed together. And at the end of X-Men 97 Season 2, we'll see where it splits. Where the Avengers go into their dimension, Fantastic Four goes into a separate pocket, apparently, and then everybody gets to come back together. Because all those heroes shoved off into, other space, they eventually come back. Where'd it go? Yeah. They come back, and the universe continues on. So I think the Fantastic Four being set in the 60s, at the same time as X-Men First Class, is like the beginning of that timeline, and it gets split after Season 2 of X-Men 97, and then Secret Wars is going to put it back together. If it's really Secret Wars, they could be lying to us again.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
let me get this straight for those of us who didn't read the comics.
Who were out drinking in cornfields while I was reading comic books at home. Yeah.
I was too young to be drinking. Thank you very much. I was drinking, but it was milk. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you think that the MCU that we've had since Avengers is actually the pocket dimension that's going to be created either this week or at the end of the next season of X-Men 97?
Yeah, at the end of the next season.
So
Sure.
they're not pocket lint yet, but they're going to be soon.
Right.
Well, Feige
Okay.
Feige did say that X-Men 97 isn't going to tie into the MCU.
It is. or
It's
is
funny
it?
that you said Onslaught because my friend had the same prediction. He's like, we're totally going into Onslaught. But his theory was going into Onslaught is going to lead us to the Age of Apocalypse, since they're jumping around with different comic book stories.
That'd make me super happy too.
Me too. I would love this. Age of Apocalypse is one of my favorite comic books. And yes, I had that comic book too with Wolverine's skin. Man, the 90s were a great time
Yeah.
to be alive. Sorry, Kathleen.
So are we talking
I
about
was
the
alive.
apocalypse that I'm thinking about? The same apocalypse?
Yeah. Hands
So-
turned into hammers, blue lips.
Yeah, but to be better portrayed than it was in the X-Men movie.
He's been on in that animated show.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
Okay.
So wait, Jason, did you say that Feige said that X-Men 97 is not tying in, or
Yeah, he
is?
said they're keeping it separate. Is what he said. You know, things can change.
They also
can
lie
lie.
to us, though.
Obviously, they can lie. It's not Khan. Remember that whole Khan
Yeah.
we got?
Yeah. Ever since then, I haven't believed anybody.
It's a good theory. I like the theory.
Yeah.
As a nerd, I definitely like it. It's
Yeah.
funny that you guys both say Onslaught's coming. I think that's 1,000% accurate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hashtag
John said he had
animated.
theories. I said, okay.
Very good theory.
What are your thoughts on the theory, though, Tim?
On the thoughts on the theory, I think it's makes sense. The pictures themselves did not help me understand where he was going to go with this, but his explanation does make sense. I don't remember the Pocket universe back when in reading, so that is all kind of like that's all new information to me. I don't remember that. I must have ducked out reading the comic books before that came out. I think I found Girls or something.
I was
But
going to say,
anyway,
when did that one
um,
come out? Because that was probably
96.
around your discovery of boobs.
Oh, 96? Yeah, I was definitely not paying attention to comic books in 96.
Dude, boobs and nerds. Come on, man. Boobs and comics.
Well,
You didn't live life, did you?
Well, I did. That wasn't a problem. But yeah, I just don't remember that one. But yeah, so I like the idea of it. I like the fact that there would be, because that would actually really help tie up a few things and give a nice fresh starting point for moving forward. And I think that would be really cool because it's almost what they need.
Mm-hmm.
So
Even if they don't use the 97 X-Men to boost that story could still happen. I think that'd be a great way to bring the characters together because they did say Fantastic Four takes place in another universe.
okay,
I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
And curious what's going to happen with the once Netflix heroes when they bring those back in too.
Yeah.
I want to have Daredevil and Spider-Man sitting on a roof complaining about their problems. And the alarms go off.
there go the dogs.
Yep.
The
Neighbors
neighborhood huskies.
They were quiet too long.
I was surprised they lasted as long as they did, if we're being completely honest.
But, you know, it was pretty impressive. I don't think they've ever been quiet this long.
So,
Yeah.
but thanks to Jay for coming on and talking to us about the multiverse of madness. He makes some good points there. Go check out Three Geeks podcast, 3 Geeks plus Mike, they do some really cool stuff over there, and we're big fans of the geeks. So,
Thank you guys. We hit 22,000 views in 28 days.
Woo!
Nice. Boom.
Matt
Atta
talking
boy.
up to 5.
Nice. Is that on your main channel, or is that on Reels, or is that on
It's
Shorts?
on.
Or
It's on our main channel.
Cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Atta boy.
Well, thanks, guys. I love being a pitch hitter. It was so much fun. I got to let my dogs out. But have a good night.
Good night, Jason.
All right, Jay.
Bye.
All right, man. See you, buddy. That was cool. That was nice.
That
He
was
stopped
fun.
in. And his theories make sense. So his way of looking at it made sense. All right, Kathleen, let's bring folks up to speed about where we're at and what's going on.
Righty, I should pull that document back up again. I turned my
Yeah,
mouse
you
back
probably
on. Well, no, like the document was up, and I had it in full screen because I didn't need it up here, and then my mouse turned off, and I'm a mess. Okay. All right.
It's adorable.
So last Friday, we aired our interview with Star Trek expert Larry Nemechek.
Nemechek.
That's a fun word. Sorry. Larry is called Dr. Trek because of his extensive knowledge of Star Trek and all of I'm not okay. I mean, I am, but all right. Wait. All the things he's done in the Trek universe. He's a writer, historian, actor, podcaster, and soon-to-be filmmaker.
Yeah, he's making a really cool documentary. It's at the tail end of it about the Star Trek Comic-Con that was done in 1982, right after the end of the Wrath of Khan. And the facility management group and everybody that was putting this on made this big deal, this big spectacle of it, and it was going to have like music-related concerts, and it had the entire cast there, and it was going to be great. It was going to be wonderful, and it was a 5-alarm crap show. And so people at the end of it started calling it the Con of Wrath. They were so disappointed and so unhappy about it. So he's making a documentary about the process, and he's interviewed people that were part of everything that went down, but who are no longer with us because of age and time and everything else. But there's a lot of, it should be really cool. And I'm very much looking forward to it. He's got, if you go to LarryNemechek.com, you can check out all the behind the scenes stuff for it and ways that as a donator, you can get a producer title on the show because he's finishing up the last round of his Kickstarter. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, so there's that.
And that one is still up on our channel, on our YouTube channel, and wherever you listen to your audio podcasts, including Good Pods.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, go check that out over there. And now this upcoming Friday, we have an interview that we tried to get together for a year, but everything kind of worked against us between
schedule,
work schedule, life, the writer's strike, the actor's strike. Everything kind of happened against us. We had an interview with this fella, Jim Meskimen, and Jim's a really cool dude. He is also known as, he does what he calls Jimpressions. He is a master impressionist. The number of people that he has done impressions of, he's gone viral on TikTok. He's gone viral on YouTube.
The number of impressions he does in that episode, even.
Yeah. Oh, during the course of the interview, he flows in and out of characters. It's really, really interesting. Now, you've seen him on Apollo 13. He was in a movie called Frost Nixon. He's in a video game called Star Trek Resurgent as Captain Polano. We talked to him about that and asked him whether or not he's ever done any of Polano's voices in the voice of Captain Picard, which, by the way, he does a stunning Jean-Luc Picard.
He does.
Wow. As a matter of fact, on our Instagram channel right now, we have a sneak peek of him doing Jean-Luc. So you might want to go check that out. And you also see on the screen there, the Thundercats logo. He was the creative director and art director for Thundercats. So all the designs you see on screen of how the characters look, how the ships and everything else looks, Jim Meskimen. That's him. So pretty interesting guy with an immensely deep background. Not to mention that his mom was Mrs. C on Happy Days.
Yes, she was.
So yeah,
and she's still his mom.
She's
still his mom. I don't want to say that I may have worded that inappropriately during the interview or inaccurately, but I did. Yeah, I totally did. I'm like, that was your mom. He goes like, yeah, well, she's still my mom. I'm like, whoops, yeah, she's still alive. My bad.
Way to go, Timothy.
But if you don't want to wait till Friday morning, you'll be able to check that out very shortly here on our Patreon channel. So now remember, for $1, you can get early access. For $3, you can get early access and behind the scenes stuff. And for $15, you get all of that, plus a chance to come shake some dice with us live here on our regularly scheduled Star Wars RPG once a month. So that there'll be an opportunity for that. So anything else before we call it a night?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
So
Yeah. I think we
well,
covered.
I was kind of trying to politely kind of go through that. But yeah, as soon as John's done editing it.
I don't want to be nice. I'm done being nice.
I'll get to it tomorrow, I promise.
We
I
had
want to know.
wife and
Anyway.
stuff today.
A friend of mine
Life
died
is-
over the weekend. I've been a little emotional. I'm sorry.
Hey,
That-
life happens, man.
Until
And
it
both-
stops.
In both good ways and bad ways, life happens and it affects us all. So
Yeah.
I too was I was at a funeral this past weekend. My great aunt died, so we have that. So, we ha. All right, so wow, there's a nice negative way to end the show. But yeah,
That was
so
not a negative way to end the show. I am going to remind everybody who's still listening and who's listening later the same thing I reminded all of my friends today. You do not need a special occasion to buy cake.
It's true.
Cake.
You got out of bed this morning. Celebrate it. Go
Cake.
get a cake.
Exactly.
Or get a cake.
You answered a phone call that wasn't in your contacts. Get a cake.
It's probably because they wanted, to extend your warranty. So yeah, you definitely deserve a cake for that.
And
But-
if you eat the whole cake, it's still only one piece.
That's true.
One piece of cake. Your logic is sound, sir.
All right.
Flawed, but sound.
It's right up there with the fact that tomato is a fruit, but that doesn't mean you put it in a smoothie.
Salsa?
Bingo.
Although, yeah, I guess salsa would be a smoothie, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is a hot dog
And,
a sandwich or a taco?
And on that note, goodbye.
Copyright 2024 FSF Podcast. Reference any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF Podcast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpopcast.com.